everybody. Welcome back to Amber Unabridged. This is another Short Story Sunday. I'm here today to talk to you about Snow White and the Seven Keys to Doomsday by Justin Richards. This is part of a box set called Time Lord Fairy Tales. I'd initially seen it as a single book, and I'd wanted it, and then I waited until I found that this existed. And I have this obsession with little mini books. Look how cute it is! I can't handle it. Ah! Okay. It's fine. I'm fine. So, in honor of speaking to you today about a Doctor Who story, I am wearing my TARDIS earrings. These were handmade and custom made by a friend of mine, a local artist here in Milwaukee. She is Latinx American, and she has an Etsy store, and I will leave a link to her things down below. She makes some really cool stuff, and it would be really great if you guys would check her out. In this story, we're following a kind of standard fairy tale-esque vibe, even though it was very clearly written in a modern time, but it's got kind of that weirdness that fairy tales have. We're on Planet Winter. Planet Winter has a history of monarchs, and everybody is generally delightful and cares about their people until evil King Drexter. He really just wants power, and he is afraid of losing that power, which you would think, well, he's a king, how could he lose power? Unless you're actually a fan of history and you know that that's not how that works. In this universe, there's a council of whomever, and they have the power of revoking power from the monarchy. So King Drexter's eternal paranoia is that the council is going to take away his power. Why would you worry about that unless you were evil? Well, if you do well by the people will do well by you. So, before his coronation, he starts making this Doomsday machine, which on the day of his coronation, he tells the council, hey, listen, if you try to do anything to me, I'm going to put all 7 keys into this machine to make it work, and I'm going to burn the air, because that's what sane people do. Everybody was really worried about it, and it was fine, though, because King Drexter fell for a lady who isn't named, also in the tradition of old-timey fairy tales where women aren't important, even though they're the most important, because I think she's pretty cool. He falls for a lady, and she poisons him, and he dies. So, yay! Doomsday Machine isn't a problem anymore. Turns out, a couple decades later, or something, down the line, it doesn't really specify when, unless it does, and I entirely forgot all over again. Down the line, we get a new monarch, Queen Selima, and she is also evil. So much for the introduction about all the monarchs who just want happy people. Queen Selima is power hungry, and she's playing by the rules because she doesn't want to be unseated from the throne. Well, one day, she's speaking to an engineer about, is there a way to get the Doomsday Machine to work without the keys, because they're hidden all over the kingdom. King Drexter, hid them so that nobody else could use the machine against him. Well, turns out that no, it is impossible to activate the machine without the keys. However, the machine itself knows where the keys are. They're a part of it. So there's this screen in the side of the machine, and he's showing the queen, this is what the rooms look like where the keys are hidden. And so she's like, okay, well, we need to find them as soon as possible. Little do they know that a young lady who works in the palace, who was dusting that room for the first time basically ever in the history of its existence, was sort of underneath the machine cleaning when she heard footsteps and wanted to hide so it wouldn't be awkward. And her name is Snow White. Turns out that the Snow White reference isn't just because of the 7 keys. Turns out she also knows 7 mindsmen. Snow White has to find 7 keys, and she gets the help of 7 mindsmen because one wouldn't work. So she gets their help. Turns out that she was looking at the screens and she hit some dial or what have you, and the screen turned more into a window because it's Doctor Who. Random plot devices that just help the story move forward or stop it entirely for shits and giggles. So the screen turns into a window, but it's too small, and that's why she gets these mindsmen. And they each take turns popping through the window, finding the keys, and bringing them back. Well, then they're like, well, what do we do with them now? We have them all. And she said, well, we destroy them. Queen Selima walks in just as she's about to snap the first key. I don't know what they're made of that she's able to snap them just with her hands. But she does. And turns out that they're explosive keys. I suppose it makes sense since they're for an evil machine that burns the air. I guess it's worth specifying. I hadn't assumed that that's what they would do. But because Queen Selima went to attack Snow White as she was breaking the key, the resulting fireball boom explosion that happened hit Queen Selima and not Snow White, who was knocked out of the way and then crawled into the corner to hide as the explosion set off all 6 of the other keys. So, evil Queen Selima is dead. The world is safe, and it's all thanks to a whole lot of weird series of circumstances. Yep. So, yay, no burning planet. This was a really cute story. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the cover. I love keys as an aesthetic, and so I was especially drawn to the concept here. So yeah, that's another Short Story Sunday for you today. If you're a fan of Doctor Who, let me know. If you love short stories, let me know. If you have any recommendations for me to check out, or a favorite short story that you want me to know about, comment down below. And I hope you have a great day. Happy reading. Bye.